Good morning. It is Wednesday, the 29th of October, 2025. October seems to be the month that never seems to end. It started when I was at the Labour Party conference in Liverpool, and it's going to end on Halloween, as it often does on Friday. So please join us for a special edition of the Friday Night Social, the Halloween Night Social. So before we get to that, we're going to say hello to Sarah Davis and Diz and Sid and the Gist UK and Veg Pie and Martin Harrow and others in the chat here. Hello, everyone. Hi. If you'd like to join our friends in the chat, all you need to do is hit the subscribe button. There you go. Subscribe button. It's all good. So I've remembered to close the curtains today, so I shouldn't have too much trouble with the lighting changing as I'm doing the show. So that's good. Sorry for being a couple of minutes late. That was entirely my fault, but I'm here now, and that's what's important, I like to think. So today we're going to talk a little bit about this revelation that has been printed in the Guardian, or at least printed on their website, as far as that can be printed. The revelation that it was Boris Johnson that secretly approved China's now very problematic mega embassy mega embassy in 2018. This exposes the sheer hypocrisy of the Tory party, the same people who are now screaming about national security and pretending China hawks literally signed off the deal, pretending to be the China hawks that signed off the deal. Johnson personally wrote to China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi, giving the green light. He even celebrated the project as China's largest diplomatic investment. So, two questions this morning to kick off. Why did the Tories and Boris bend over backwards for Beijing? And why now pretending it wasn't them? Wasn't me. I mean, that is Boris Johnson. That is Boris Johnson's song, isn't it? Wasn't me. So, what is this super embassy you speak of, Graham, in London? And why does it matter? Well, it's the Royal Mint Court, right by the Tower of London. It means thousands of Chinese personnel, vehicles, diplomatic shipments moving unchecked through one of Britain's most sensitive civic areas. You need to understand that when you run an embassy, you get what's called a diplomatic bag. You can put anything in the bag, and the bag could be any fucking size. Like a crate of alcohol coming into the embassy in Kuwait could be regarded, I think, as a diplomatic bag. Like, you can't look inside. The people of Qatar, Kuwait can't look inside. All the people of Qatar, for that matter. So Chinese embassies are sovereign territory, so Chinese security, surveillance, tech, and potentially intelligence activity, of course it's going to be intelligence activity, that's what embassies do all around the world, would operate beyond UK jurisdiction. And at a size of 20,000 square metres in the middle of the city of London, this would be an entire complex, not just a building. And analysts have already flagged that China heavily uses embassies abroad as hubs for influence and data collection. This would be Beijing's biggest base outside of China. And Boris Johnson approved it. He wrote to Wang Yi in 2018, confirming UK consent. He literally said he welcomed Chinese investment and promised political backing at the highest levels. Eddie Lister, his longtime fixer, helped broker the deal. But this wasn't just one official. This was a coordinated government green light during Theresa May's government and continued under Johnson himself. They can't pretend that they didn't know now. They made it happen. They gave the planning rights to the Chinese to say, yeah, you can, the planning permission to the Chinese saying, yeah, you can build this, right? And fast forward to today, the Tories are now claiming to oppose this mega embassy, this huge embassy they're setting up. And Kemi Badenoch went on ITV's Peston the other day to demand that it be scrapped, conveniently forgetting that it was her own party who approved it, which is mildly hilarious. If you know we weren't in the situation that we were in. I mean, I'll tell you what else is mildly hilarious. So Suella Braverman a few days ago went on X.com, or Twitter as we like to call it back in the day. After Sky News reported, so Sky News tweet, migrant sex offender is second person to be freed by mistake from HMP Chelmsford. To which Suella Braverman replied, quote tweeted, put it up here, quote tweeted, "This is a joke, surely?" To which Larry the Cat pointed out that Braverman deleted this tweet, which made me wonder who that previous prisoner was. Well, his name was Junaid Ahmed. He was a con man mistakenly released in 2023. Oh, she was Home Secretary at the time. Well, fancy that. Yeah, so we keep seeing this. We keep seeing Tories go online, go on the TV, and claiming that these bad things that have happened, that they put into place, that happened under their watch, that they literally signed off on, went them. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. And that is really quite something, isn't it, to see? And the problem is that these news reporters or columnists or TV presenters and auto cue readers, they all went to school together, you see. This is the big problem. They all went to school together. So it's not like they got to challenge these motherfuckers and say, oh, hang on. But yeah, the mega embassy by the Tower of London in the Old Royal Mint in London, you know, this is something that was a coordinated Conservative green light during Theresa May's government, and they can't claim now that they didn't know. And they just can't, you know. And this is the pattern to do with, you know, they're accusing Labour now of making secret deals with China, which isn't the case. The secret deal was between Boris Johnson and the Chinese. But this is the pattern, right? So we had Huawei, the Tories let Chinese tech into UK 5G and then U-turned because the Americans were like, what the hell are you doing? Nuclear power. Tories let China invest in Hinkley Point and in Bradwell nuclear power stations. And also in universities, they welcome Chinese money and influence in our universities as well. They sold off chunks of Britain to the Chinese, and now they're gaslighting the country about it. I think it was a consortium from Qatar and China that bought our electricity grid not that long ago. I don't know who owns it now, but yeah, when you talk about national security, I think ownership of the national grid is something that should possibly stay in the United Kingdom, don't you? I mean, I'm not a big patriot, I'm not a big nationalist, but when it comes to shit like that, I'm like, bloody hell. I do have my limits where I think, you know, wouldn't it be nice if there was lots of foreign people running everything? But yeah, and don't forget, this is the trial of the two men accused of spying for China in Westminster collapsed a couple of weeks ago. And one of them, Christopher Cash, was linked to senior Tory MPs and the China Research Group, which was a group of Tory MPs within the Tory party. Now the government is refusing to reveal what went wrong in the case, citing national security, which isn't great. But it does show that the Tories don't actually care about Chinese influence in the country. They never did. They weren't asked. They just wanted the money. They just like, shut up, give me the money. Give money. But they do now seem to care about, now they're out of power, they claim to care about China being used as a political weapon. Because they want to do that and throw it at Labour. Anyway, so yeah, Chinese influence, not an accident. Policy under Cameron, under May, under Johnson, the Tories pushed a golden era with China, as they had done with Russia years before obviously the invasion of Crimea in 2014. They welcomed Chinese oligarch money into London real estate, no questions asked. And huge amounts of suspicion. Hang on, did I just say that it stopped in 2014 when Russia invaded Crimea? No, it didn't. And the Eastern Donbass. No, it didn't. The influence of the Russians on the Tory party, they were still paying for thousands and thousands of pounds to play tennis against David Cameron or Boris Johnson or one of these interchangeable eating twats that run that particular shit show. That continued till 2023 and the invasion of 2022. 2022 and the invasion of Ukraine, the full-on invasion where they tried to take Kyiv, they tried to take the capital city. So there you go. So this is it's just very suspicious. Huge amounts of money from Russia and China flowed into Tory coffers via proxy donors. They opened the gate, and now they're complaining that the Russians and the Chinese just walked in. So there's other stories in the news today. Rachel Reeves is warning of a looming £20 billion black hole. The OBR is downgrading productivity forecast. We touched on this yesterday. This is thanks to 14 years of Tory austerity, Brexit, COVID response, and the Trust mini budget. Reeves has promised there's going to be no return to austerity, thank God, because that would actually ruin everything. But she may be forced into tax rises just to balance the books. Okay, fine. If people can afford it, raise the fucking taxes. Honestly, at this point, our country's on its fucking knees. I think it's all hands on deck. I don't mind. I earn fuck all. I don't mind paying a bit of extra tax. I honestly don't. If it means that kids in this country aren't going to fucking starve. All right? If it means that people aren't going to have to live in chronic pain for 2 years waiting to get an NHS appointment, an operation, on their hip or their knee or whatever it is that needs to be done. Or people with cancer are not waiting 6 months for test results. I'd rather pay a bit more myself because, I'm not a selfish bastard, and I would like to give back to this country that has, birthed me, nurtured me, put me through school, put me through university, put me through, most of the things in my life. I know I spent a lot of time outside this country, and so I do have a little bit of a more, roundedly cynical view of things. But at the end of the day, I owe Britain my life, the life that I have. I really do. Do you think I could have travelled to every country in the world without flying without a British passport? I don't think I could. Maybe with another European passport or an American passport, maybe Canada, New Zealand, Australia. But I met so many people when I was travelling. I said, I'd love to travel. But I can't because I've got a, Ghanaian passport, or I've got a Angolan passport, or I don't even have a passport. And that's really sad. We can travel, and people who don't when they can just baffles me, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously they don't enjoy travel, but there's a lot of people in this country who would love to travel and they can't for various reasons, various health reasons, or for reasons they don't have the money. And when people do decide to get off their arse and go somewhere else, I think that's something that should be celebrated. I really do. And I do agree that we should have a sliding scale upwards, a logarithmic scale go for how many flights you take a year. Your first flight is tax-free. After that, mate, well, your first return flight is tax-free. And then after that, taxes start going up. Every flight you take after that is going to cost more money, and more money goes into the Chancellor of the Exchequer's coffers, and that includes private flights as well. So that's a really good way of stinging people like Nigel Farage, who are the people that I really want to go out after. The Coots bank account thing. I mean, seriously, if you've got a Coots bank account, I think you should be on a higher rate of income tax. I think Nigel Farage should be on 95% income tax for all the money he makes on the side while he's an MP. Or here's something, Labour, make it illegal for MPs to have a second job. Do you know most jobs you're not allowed to have a second job? There's a lot of jobs out there you're not allowed to have a second job. So the people working for these MPs, civil servants, they're not allowed to have a second job. But the MPs are for some reason. I don't understand. Anyway, so we've got Rachel Reeves saying that she doesn't want to return to austerity, but she is going to. She might be forced into tax rises, and she's saying she's going to defy the forecasts. That's the headline: defy the forecasts. Invest to grow the economy. But does Labour really have a growth plan, or is it just rhetoric? I mean, how can we grow without being part of the EU? That is just a fucking, a knot that will not be untied until we actually make great strides to rejoining the single market and the customs union, which we left behind because the posh kids told us to. Not that it would affect them. Not that it would affect their children. Just ours. Bastards. Bastards. Absolute bastards. Anyway, so there was another story today on the Guardian website about the climate crisis. Obviously, they're doing a series about this because of the COP summit in Brazil. A new Lancet report from that famous publication that said that there was some kind of link between autism and the MMR jab, which caused innumerable deaths. And I think the Lancet should have been shut down, like the Mail on fucking the news of the world. But it still exists. They published a retraction, and Andrew Wakefield should be in fucking jail for the rest of his life for what he did. Fucking con artist. But we're getting beside the point now. New Lancet report, a heat now kills 1 person every minute worldwide. That's 500,000 deaths per year from heat alone. And meanwhile, governments around the world gave $956 billion $956 billion in fossil fuel subsidies last year. The UK handed 22 billion from the taxpayer. The taxpayer, 22 billion. Does that number sound familiar? Does 22 billion sound familiar? I wonder why 22 billion sounds very familiar. Does anybody have any ideas why that might be? Why that particular figure of 22 billion might just, I don't know, ring a few alarms in people's heads? Have we heard that figure before? Have I already got a graphic set up that literally says 22 billion black hole? Funny, because that exact amount, 22 billion pounds handed to fossil fuels, while fossil fuel firms, these nightmare fuel firms, these dirty, toxic, foreign sludge and emporiums, while claiming we can't afford green energy. 22 billion pounds. The exact amount that they said there was a black hole because of the Tories. Meanwhile, Trump and fossil fuel lobbies are accelerating the collapse. Banks are funding fossil fuel exploration beyond Paris Agreement limits. Fossil fuel profits are at record highs, and lives are being traded for bigger yachts for CEOs who you'll never meet, who wouldn't piss on you if you're on fire, and they get 22 billion from the taxpayer. Meanwhile, there's a 22 billion pound black hole in our public finances. So where did they get that 22 billion in subsidies? Was it from the public finances? Was it? That's interesting, isn't it? Maybe you should tell someone. Our energy security has been sold to oil barons from other fucking countries. National security has been handed over to China. Our economy has been wrecked by Brexit and left us absolutely vulnerable to the whims of other countries, leaving us with shit trade deals like the one we've got with Australia, where we can't sell them any beef and they can sell us 20,000 tons without actually having to fucking pay a fucking penny on a tariff. And climate policy is just being sabotaged by corporate greed, because those CEOs need bigger yachts. Those shareholders need their cocaine, peeps. They need their crystal chandeliers, their big widescreen TVs, which don't cost that much. So they've got a lot of money left over, which they usually spend on drugs, ketamine, cocaine, the posh people drugs, the swans, ostrich eggs. I don't know what fucking rich people do with their time. Making the world a better place is clearly not one of those things. And then we've got, framing the solution, energy independence through renewables. I want energy. I've said this a million times before. Energy independence, energy sovereignty. That's what I want for my country. Strategic autonomy in tech and supply chains, instead of relying on China, relying on other countries so much that aren't in Europe. I liked it when we relied on Europe, because most of the European countries are our friends. They're not out to screw us. We were a collaborator, not a competitor. And let's get some real anti-corruption laws in. Let's get some real anti and stop these second jobs, like like Nigel Farage making £1.2 million since becoming an MP from his fucking grifts, selling gold. Do we make gold? Does Britain make gold? Do we have gold mines? Do we fuck? He makes money buying and selling fucking gold for other countries. Yeah, we did that. Just what? Just what? And then you've got, like, the fact that we need equitable climate action. I was thinking about this. I might do a whole Sunday sermon about it, but people talk about equality, and look, we don't live in a meritocracy. We live in a society where if you went to private school, you're 5 times more likely to get a top job. Simple as that, right? The BBC, ITV, Channel 4, the news, the films you watch, the politics that we see, absolutely dominated by the people who went to private school. Absolutely dominated. We do not live in a meritocracy. We live in a inheritocracy, where people who were well off when they were born because their parents were rich get a higher station in life, and they'll stay there. And the people who don't will never rise beyond their station in life. But they're told, because we have this idealized vision that we live in a meritocracy, that this is toxic, right? Not the idea of a meritocracy necessarily, but saying that we live in a meritocracy when we don't is fucking toxic. And I'll tell you why. Because it means that the rich, privileged little fuckwits like Prince Andrew and his fucking 72 teddy bears that he has on his bed in a certain fucking order, and he has a laminated sheet to tell his fucking underlings which order to put his fucking teddies in. Grown man who's known to sleep with underage girls. Why has he got teddy bears in his room? Just asking. Anyway, these rich, privileged bastards, right? They can turn to us and say, the only reason why you haven't succeeded in life, the only reason why my TV show's not been shown in this country when it's been shown in 90 other countries around the fucking world, is because I didn't work hard enough. I didn't pull myself up by the bootstraps. It's not because I didn't know, I wasn't close personal friends with the Director General of the BBC because we wanked into a hat together in our days in Eton or Harrow or Winchester or Westminster or fucking, what's the one that James O'Brien went to that has its own fucking golf course? Ambleside or Aberforth? No, that's Dumbledore's brother, isn't it? Anyway, but yeah. The point remains, saying that we live in a meritocracy when we fucking don't is really fucking dangerous. And when we talk about equality, this idea that you can have a rule, you can have a law, right? And the law applies equally to everyone, right? It doesn't. No law applies equally to everyone. You need to look at the outcomes of that particular rule, of that particular law, and you need to look at the systemic issues for certain people. So if you have a rule that says that you have to have a door in the front of your building, right? And you think, okay, that's cool. You got to have a door. People have got to get in, right? But you've got no specifications for that door. You don't have to make it wheelchair accessible. What if you make it really fucking small and tall people can't get in? You got the door. You've followed the letter of the law. There's a door there. Only a fucking borrower can get in, but it's a door, But because people are so varied, you need to look at how the same law impacts different people. So saying to someone who's filthy fucking rich, you're not allowed to shoplift, okay? You're not allowed to rob stuff from the supermarket. That's one thing, right? But then saying that same law to someone who's fucking starving, who's grabbing a fucking packet of crisps and throwing it into their jacket, then I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to fucking say anything. Ever see a woman putting a pack of nappies, in a secret compartment or something? I'm not going to say anything. I don't fucking know. It's not my business. But it's a very different setup. In the same way that if you have a law, for instance, that says if someone's caught speeding, right, they get £100 fine, right? For someone it takes 2 days to earn £100 after tax. 2 days work, that's gone, right? But for someone like Elon fucking Musk, or any of these rich motherfuckers who earn more each night in their sleep than you do all year by working, okay? That's the reality, right? 100 quid to them, nothing. So we need to look at laws in context. We need to look at things that are equitably distributed. And not just go, well, black people have got rights now. Yeah. However, we still have a situation where if you have a black name or an Asian name, you need to send out, what was it, 77 more CVs than any other motherfucker, because you had a foreign sounding name or a black sounding name. Oh, even worse. Oh, they got a black sounding name. So yeah, we need to make a rule that says CVs, don't put your name on them. Don't require that people put photos of them on them. I mean, that law doesn't bother me, I've got a nice white name. Graham means grey house. Scottish name. Cool. Hughes means fire. It's Welsh. Great. Okay, well, I guess I'm from here. I suppose David is a Hebrew name, but by the by. Also, the patron saint of Wales. The reason why my middle name is David is because the day after my birth was St. David's Day. True story. Did you know that? Anyway, they had to stop putting names on the CV. So Sean, yeah. So I'm just trying to give examples of something where you go, okay, here's the rule. And then you go, oh, hang on, this doesn't work for certain people. This doesn't work for this group or that group or whatever. And that's what we've got to be looking at. If we're looking at a more equitable society, we need to be looking at that. And isn't it interesting how every time that the neo-aristocracy, these private school fuckers like Loser Fox, who could afford to get fucking expelled from Harrow and still go on to have an acting career, like that would happen to us. Come on. That would happen to, we got expelled from the school that we went to. And then we got like jobs on fucking the Moore spin-off. Well, dressing up as a Nazi. There is a show, isn't there, where Loser Fox dressed up as a Nazi. But then along comes COVID, and they say we need to have these rules. We need to have these rules in place, right? What were the rules? You had to wear masks. You had to get vaccinated, right? You had to not go to the pub. You had to not have house parties. And what did the neo-aristocracy do in the face of that? Boris Johnson had parties. Dominic Cumming, privately educated, put his kid, little kid, 4-year-old kid, who he lied about having autism when he's not autistic, hotboxed him all the way up to Durham, where we didn't have the disease, we didn't have the plague. He brought it up here, went to his parents' place, that stayed in a place that didn't pay council tax for 25 fucking years, even though it was clearly had accommodation because he stayed in there. And then on his wife's birthday, he took a little trip down the A167 to Barnard Castle. You know that local nature site? Yeah, and then he sat in the rose garden of the fucking of number 10 Downing Street and told us all that he was testing his fucking eyesight. Okay, so we have a rule, right? We have a rule, and we all follow it, right? And the neo-aristocracy, Lawrence Fox goes nuts. I'm not wearing a fucking mask. I'm not wearing... what's her name? Fucking... Is it Haiti Hopkins? Says, I'm not getting vaccinated. I'm not getting vaccinated. I'm privately educated, of course, Katie Hopkins. And pretty much everyone who's vile, privately educated. I'm going to do a video. I've been thinking about this and it's just going to be me listing a fraction of the names on the private school mafia list and how sick how it makes me angry when I see these people on TV. And I'm going to start with Sarah Puchin because she's privately educated. As 4 out of 5, the 5 refuck MPs are. The only one who isn't is Lee Anderson, who's like kept his little pet. He's kept his little pet by the aristocracy. Go on, do a little trick. Go on, do a little trick, Lee. Go on. So yeah, we need to have a look at how we construct things in Britain, taking into account people's circumstances. And people's circumstances are different for different people, and it means that the laws can't be applied equally across everyone. It just doesn't work. Like, you've got to look at the quality of outcome. So when Lawrence Fox gets done for speeding in his Maserati or whatever the fuck he drives, whatever fucking souped up roller skate he rolls around in, right? He gets £100,000 fine because he can fucking afford it. So it's not £100, it's £100,000. That's it, mate. We've had a look at your finances and that's how much you can afford. So that's how much we're going to charge you. It's a lot fairer. It's what they do in Finland. Pete says, I have a bunch of action figures and figurines, but I'm a proper pop culture nerd. Plus, the ones I have are cool as fuck. Yeah, pop culture. Woo! Many getting benefits. Cut, voted for Trump. Hard to feel sorry for them, but I do feel bad for their kids. It's going to get wild here. Yeah, says Jolie. I'm sorry that this is happening. Honestly, I wish it wasn't. I wish the billionaires had been reined in to stop them doing this. But the billionaires are forging ahead this new what do they call it? A techno feudalist society, and it is not going to work. There's two reasons, right? One, it makes no economic sense to give people no money and that just have three people with all the money. That makes no economic sense because the three people with the money can't make any more money if no one's got money, right? And the other issue is, this is pretty obvious to anyone who's ever studied economics or history or politics or anything like that. Fascism always falls. Fascism always fails. It might be propped up for a few years, but then it gets to a point and um, it always falls down. Um, I, I'm gonna try and find a quote. I'm gonna, otherwise I'll misremember it. Right. Yeah. Okay. So this is from Namek's manifesto. I'm gonna try and get the whole quote because it's fucking fantastic. Okay. Okay. So this is a wonderful quote from a wonderful TV show called Andor, which is a Star Wars spin-off, but it's set in the Star Wars universe, but there's no Jedis in it, there's no magic wizards, there's no one going stop, and then people stop. Like what happened in Alien Earth, where the girl turned out to be a Jedi. Sorry, spoilers. What the fuck, Alien Earth? That was just fucking weird. Anyway, there are times when the struggle seems impossible. I know this already. Alone, unsure, dwarfed by the scale of the enemy. But remember this: freedom is a pure idea. It occurs spontaneously and without instruction. Random acts of insurrection are occurring constantly throughout the galaxy. There are whole armies, battalions that have no idea they've already enlisted in the cause. Remember that the frontier of the rebellion is everywhere, and even the smallest act of insurrection pushes our lines forward. And remember this: the imperial need, or we could take out imperial, put the billionaire. The billionaire need for control is so desperate because it's so unnatural. Tyranny requires constant effort. It breaks, it leaks. Authority is brittle. Oppression is the mask of fear. Remember that and know this: the day will come when all these skirmishes and battles, these moments of defiance, will have flooded the banks of the empire's authority, and then there'll be one too many. One single thing will break the siege. Remember this: try. Which is actually a big, wonderful fuck you to Yoda, who said, "Don't try, just do." But yeah, I love that. The need for control is so desperate because it's so unnatural. Tyranny requires constant effort, and it really, really does. Constant effort to keep people under the cosh, and it is very, very difficult, especially in countries that aren't North Korea, that aren't Russia, right? That aren't, Saudi Arabia. Countries where people have known freedom, countries where people have experienced what freedom looks like. They've tasted it, they've smelt it, they've eaten it. Do you know what I mean? They've drunk it down. And those people, I can't see them going, yeah, all right, I'm happy to live under tyranny now. I'm happy for this. I'm happy for authoritarianism to tell me how to live, who to love, who I'm allowed to hang out with, what opinions I'm allowed to hold. Imagine that. Imagine living in a society where your opinions are dictated by the state. And then all these little fucking authoritarian, neo-Nazi, fascist fucks at the fucking refuck party are all like, "Oh, our freedoms are our freedoms are being taken away. Our freedom." No, freedom to be a bigot is not a freedom, mate. That's just fucking bullying. You're not talking about freedom of speech. You just don't want any consequences for when you say fucking horrible shit. Like, I don't know, I don't like seeing lots of brown and black faces on the TV. There's too many of them. God, it makes me so angry. That's all you got to get angry about, love, when your constituency of Runcorn and Helsby is one of the most deprived and depraved areas of the fucking country. Bloody fucking Scouser land. Yeah. Fucking bad wolves. You're a bad wolf, Sarah Puchin. I hope you get everything that's coming to you. Anyway, let's go into the papers. We've got The Mirror here, a comic genius with a joyful life. Prunella Scales, famous for many characters, not least playing Sybil Fawlty in Fawlty Towers, has carked it. She's passed away at the age of 93. She had a good innings, and she was absolutely fantastic as Sybil Fawlty. We've got Jamaica battered, hell at 185 miles an hour. This is Hurricane Melissa, which has killed at least 7 people. Brits join thousands sheltering. We don't know yet. They're 5 hours behind us in Jamaica, so it's still dark over there. We're not going to know till the sun comes up what the situation is down on the ground. I'm hoping that everyone's safe. I'm hoping that everyone's sought shelter. I'm hoping that buildings didn't collapse on top of people. I hope. Really grim. Really fucking grim. Man-made fucking hurricane. Man-made storm, man-made nuclear weapon that's just been launched into Jamaica and is about to hit Cuba. It just made landfall in Cuba literally not long ago this morning. It's speeding up in terms of how fast it's moving now, and also it's been degraded to a Category 3 hurricane now while it goes over Cuba, but that can still do a fuckload of damage. Mike is saying, watching from Gatwick Airport on the way to Madrid. Mike was bragging this morning. Hi, Mike. Mike was bragging this morning about the fact that he could take liquids now to Madrid. And I was crying over the fact that I had to dump 2 bottles of Boca's hot sauce. 2 bottles of the good stuff. The special sauce. Yeah, I had to dump it. The special salsa. You have to go in the butcher's shop and ask for the special stuff. And I had to dump them. I had to throw them in the bin. God, what a waste. What a waste. And I have like OCD about wasting food at the best of times. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, the Daily Express leads Liz Truss. Tories must axe. Blair-White's agenda or face oblivion. That was a really good impression, I feel. Your mileage may vary. But the Blairite agenda? You fucking kidding me? Your party took us out of Europe, dickhead. How was that the Blairite agenda when Tony Blair, more than any post-war leader, possibly even more than Thatcher, believed in the European project and lobbied for 10 more countries to join the European Union? The countries that then people in this country went on to complain about, people coming from Poland, Romania, Bulgaria. Yeah, interesting. But there you go. OAPs must be given a fair deal in budget. So there is putting her case. Sue Cook, outside Parliament. Sue Cook has urged Rachel Reeves to deliver a fair deal to pensioners. This is Sue Cook, British television presenter. She didn't go to private school. She went to Viner's grammar school. So she did go to grammar. But at least maybe then, maybe at the time. No, it wouldn't have been. I was going to say maybe at the time it was private, but it wasn't. Okay. Anyway, so she's there making her case. She's got a case. And then we've got the Times over here. We've got someone who knows the dark secrets of the traitors. And Carol Midgley says, OMG, can you tell I'm a woman? Probably not. And then we've got deadly Israeli strikes in Gaza after Hamas accused of attacks, which is really grim. The ceasefire being violated by Israel that we know of, and they're accusing Hamas of violating it, but I don't know we have much evidence of that, whatever. And then we've got Afghan lorry refugee held overnight street knife killing. An Afghan man who arrived in the UK in a lorry has been arrested on suspicion of murdering a dog walker in West London. Again, another story involving a asylum seeker doing something fucking horrible. And the news, the Murdoch-owned news, the Rothermere-owned news, the Barclay brother-owned news. They will make absolute fucking hay out of this, and it's really fucking sad and grim. And yeah, I just wish that there was a lot more support for people coming and fleeing war, fleeing fleeing death, coming to this country. And yeah, as a result of the support being there, that there were no crimes. There were no crimes committed by asylum seekers at all, because all this does is give gristle to the fucking mill, doesn't it? For the racists and the apartheidists and the refuck party, the people who want to deport people who have lived here and not committed a crime, not committed any crime, who have indefinite leave to remain. They want to split up families. They want to ruin people's lives because they can, because they're sadists. They're rich, little fucking disgusting Arrested Development, plucking the fucking legs off insects, psychopathic twatbag neo-aristocrat rich fuckers who have no idea how much privilege they swim in, and all they care about is money and power. Money and power. That's all they fucking care about. Prunella says, oh, we got a super chat. We got a super chat. Yeah, hey, we got a super chat. Going to stop everything to say thank you so much to Andrew Ray for the first super chat of the morning. This is how I know that I'm probably boring everyone to death. It's 43 minutes before I get my first super chat. I need to say more controversial things, don't I? I need to say things that you disagree with, and then you throw money at me and say, shut up, Graham. Stop saying things I disagree with. How's the Moan sequestration going? Yacht whereabouts? Sequestration going. Yacht whereabouts? I don't know, Andrew. I have no idea. Although there was a news story yesterday saying that the Barrowmans had spent £10 million on a fucking apartment in where was it? Where the fuck was it? Was it Miami? Was it Miami or somewhere? Let me see, Barrowman, 10 million, I think it was Miami. Oh God, I spelled Miami wrong. I put the I and the A the wrong way around. Yes, he used his investment group to purchase a £10 million or $12.2 million apartment on Miami's Fisher Island in 2025. That was after it all blown up about the VIP lanes. That was after they'd done that interview where they went, we did nothing wrong. Wow. Yeah, £10 million luxury flat buy linked to Michelle Moan's husband. Branded a slap in the face. There you go. So when the firm linked to Michelle Moan was told to repay £122 million over dodgy PPE this month, it offered a crumb of comfort to the angry relatives, but their fury has now been reignited after it emerged. A company connected to her husband, Doug Barrowman, bought a £10 million luxury Florida home last year. Yeah. Wow. Oh, actually, no, but this year, fuck me. No, it was July this year, according to the Mirror. It was 3 months before the High Court ordered PPE MedPro, which is owned by a consortium led by the disgraced Pierre Moan's husband, to hand back the cash given by the government for surgical gowns that turned out to be faulty. So that happened. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Absolutely infuriating. Absolutely fucking infuriating. Anyway, so back to the Times and the Telegraph. We got the Times saying Labour to miss 1.5 million homes target. House builders warn growth forecast too optimistic. Productivity downgrade, further blow to Reeves. Not good news story there. The devil doesn't wear Prada. How fashion editors really dress. Okay. Why British chocolate is getting worse. Well, I'd say that the fact that British chocolates companies are now owned by American companies who don't know how to make chocolate is one of them. I think also the fact that everything's getting smaller because of shrinkflation. We're paying more for chocolate bars that are smaller, and the amount of cocoa that is in these, or cacao, is diminishing each year. They're putting less and less in. It's becoming more just flavorings. It's like chocolate flavoring. Chocolate flavored slab. We got councils told to end 4-day weeks. Schemes are a waste of taxpayer money and damage services, says government source. Oh, by the way, there are strict rules about chocolate and other food sources, but particularly chocolate within the EU that we had to abide by. We couldn't call something chocolate unless it contained a certain percentage of cocoa. I don't think those are in place anymore. I really don't. They can just slap fucking 1% of fucking actual chocolate in the chocolate bars, and then they can, I don't know, just stamp "not for sale in the EU" on the packet and get away with it. And who's asking this question? Why chocolate bars are getting worse? The Daily Telegraph, the paper that told you to vote for Brexit, that doesn't like the consequences of Brexit. The Telegraph told you to go and, stab a bunch of people. And then when you go out and stab a bunch of people, it goes, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Look at the consequences. That's awful. Can't believe you did that. After literally telling you to do it. Anyway, God, stop trying to sell me fucking radiators. We bought a radiator. It is now upstairs. It is keeping our bedroom fucking warm through the winter, okay? A solid investment in not freezing to death this winter, right? We've been here 6 years and it's fucking freezing in this house because it is a Victorian house, right? With shitty fucking insulation and all the problems that you have within a Victorian house. It's a doer-upper and no mistake. I've bought it. It has been bought. It has been paid for. I paid for the installation, okay? You don't need to sell me any more fucking radiators. I got the radiator. It's okay. Google, stop trying to sell me things that I have already bought. I don't understand why you would sell me things. I've already got one. I've already got... Jesus Christ. Curly Wurly, when I was a kid, was a foot long and took a day to eat. Wow. Thank you very much for the super chat there, Francis Winrow. And you're right. Yeah. Curly Wurly lasted forever. Graham, you think that's bad? Try shopping around for car tires. Do you know what? This is only because, right, I fucking forgot to go into incognito mode. I normally always go into incognito mode when I'm looking for flights, when I'm looking to buy anything, because I know that all I'm going to get off Google for the next 10 years is adverts for that thing I've already got. And it's like, I bought it. It's fine. But it doesn't know I bought it. So, keep throwing pictures of things at me. But there you go. And also, I need to, because I upgraded this PC that I'm running on now to Windows 11 against my will. And there's so much fucking spyware on this motherfucker. I've got like a 10-point plan of all the things that I need to deactivate on this thing to stop it, keeping tabs on everything I do. The Windows 11 is spyware. It's pure fucking spyware. It looks at your pictures. It looks at your private messages. You make a Windows document and you keep it offline. Unless you tell Windows 11 not to look at that fucking document, it'll look at that document and read it. It's fucking disgraceful. Anyway, Wow. So yeah, I'm gonna move on now. Bring back drifter bars. Oh, they were great. I like drifter bars. Oh, you make me hungry now. You can never have too many radiators, it says Jovian and Lost Missionary at the same time. Texan bars, dentistry. Do you know, Joe, twice in my life I've lost a chunk of a tooth while eating popcorn. Yeah. Those fucking kernels, man. Fuck you. They fuck you. Anyway, moving on. We've got councils told to end 4-day weeks. Schemes are a waste of taxpayer money and damage services, says government source. Farewell, Sybil Faulty. We've got Afghan arrested over dog walker killing came to UK in lorry. We've mentioned that. We've got wind power not as reliable as we thought, admits Miliband. The government has slashed forecasts for the amount of electricity it expects wind farms to generate in a blow to end Miliband's net zero plans. In documents published before an auction of green energy subsidies this week, officials said they were revisiting down the predicted efficiency of wind turbines by more than a quarter as a result of updated modelling. Experts say the change would mean the energy sector would have to pay higher subsidies to wind farms to make sure to secure the same amount of energy, making it harder for Labour's to hit Labour's clean power targets. The bogus numbers were also attacked by Conservatives. Blah blah blah. Industry sources have claimed developers previously warned officials that estimates for power generation were unrealistic, but the government has stuck with them anyway. The numbers were statistically absurd. Separately yesterday, utilities giant Iberdrola, which owns Scottish Power, also reported a 5% drop in UK farm generation because of lower wind resource. Okay, so this is an article that's clearly being paid for by the toxic nightmare fuel companies to say, oh, there's a problem with power. So this is one company. This is a story basically about one company revising the amount of energy they made in one particular month down by 5% because there wasn't enough wind in that month. Yeah, we know wind varies throughout the year. Sometimes you get more wind, sometimes you get less wind. We know this. This is taken into account. This is a non-story. It's an absolute non-story saying that they've downgraded forecasts. No, they haven't. We can make the vast majority of our power through wind, through renewables, and it is reliable. I mean, there's somewhere in a night where there's no wind and there's no wind and there's no light because obviously the sun goes down in the nighttime. It's to do more with the balance of the electricity grid around the country. We need new lines putting in, new higher, lines that can take a higher voltage or take more energy through them. It's probably not higher voltage, but can take more energy. And the way that the grid works has got to be updated. It's got to be upgraded. We know that, but this is really grasping at straws because it's not as though wind power is our only way of creating energy. We have loads of different ways of creating energy. I think there's about 7 or 8, 9, 10 different ways of creating energy. And use a bit if you have to, but prioritize ones that don't destroy the planet and give kids asthma and make one person die every minute from fucking heat death. Maybe that's what you should go after first before you go into let's reopen the coal-fired plants. No, let's not do that ever again. That was a bad idea. Macron's daughter, my mother is not a man. This is this fucking insane story from America, from France, where the president's daughter is having to go on the stand to say that the woman who gave birth to her is actually a woman. And then we've got Farage preferred as PM to Starmer, if you say so. This is like in a particular sample of particular people. I don't even know what it's saying. Ipsos. There you go. It gets 33% of the people, compared with 30% who prefer Keir Starmer. I think that's going to change over the next few years as people find out more about Nigel Farage and what a piece of shit he really is. And then we've got Jamaica battered by Hurricane Melissa, which was spoken about there as well. So we'll just go over now to the Daily Fail. And we've got the Daily Fail here. And of course, they've got to have a picture of the fucking royals on the front. There you go. If Charles doesn't act against Andrew, Steely William will, says Sarah Vine. And then we've got Keira Knightley, who has not showered herself in glory in a recent interview where she was asked why she is playing the part of Professor Umbridge in an upcoming Harry Potter audiobook adaptation. She then laughed at the fact that trans people are being thrown under the bus by a campaign of hatred born out of frustration about the way that J.K. Rowling looks by none other than J.K. Rowling, who looked in the mirror one day and fucking hated what she saw. She absolutely despised what she saw. She saw that face and that body and thought, oh, God, I look disgusting. And then she externalized that hatred to trans people because trans people look more fabulous than she does. And you know it. Anyway, but yeah, now she's had therapy for postnatal depression. They're trying to find a new story that makes her sound that she's kind of human after that really inhuman response to being asked why she's doing this thing, and is she bothered about all this transphobia coming out of XY Rowling's mouth? And she goes, "Oh, we've got to learn to get along." Privately educated, of course. Afghan held over murder of dog walker came to the UK in a lorry. No surprise that to see that the Daily Fail is leading with that. And then we've got the Daily Star here, which is celebrating the life of Prunella Scales, and also letters, what letters, and America's one of our great inventions. Ex-PM doesn't read newspapers. Liz Truss says she doesn't read papers when she was outlasted by her letters. She said she was too good to be PM, and we invented America. Okay. All right. And then we've got in the iPaper on the left of the screen here, we've got Storm of the Century, 185 mile an hour hurricane bigger than Katrina. And what else have we got? Israel launches powerful new strikes against Gaza. We've heard about that already. We have got Reeves vows to defy gloom after £20 billion budget blow. Maybe don't give subsidies to oil companies. Maybe we could stop that. Maybe we could stop all oil subsidies. Let's stop that tomorrow and use that money to pay for, I don't know, investment in public life. And mass killings in Sudan city captured by militia. Reports of ethnically motivated mass killings and other atrocities are emerging from Al-Fasher after paramilitaries took control of the city in Darfur, Sudan over the weekend. So that's really fucking grim. Prunella Scales dies at age 93. Reeves must raise income tax to fill new gap in budget, says the Independent. Economists warn Chancellor will cause unnecessary damage if she chooses smaller tax increases to balance the books after downgraded forecast leaves her needing an extra 20 billion. And then we've got the huge fucking category 5, which is the top category, hurricane that has plowed into Jamaica overnight. And then we've got the Financial Times finally, which is the last thing here, which is it's got fucking the orange menace on the front, wearing a hat with USA written on it, and next to him is the new president of, or the premier, sorry, of the prime minister, not president, sorry, the prime minister of Japan, a woman called Sanye Takahashi, who is ultra right wing to the right of Thatcher, she describes herself. Celebrating Trump hails cherished alliance with Japan as new premier, pledges more regional support. Great. And then we've got Microsoft tops $4 trillion valuation after OpenAI restructuring. Tech giant joins Apple and Nvidia's club. ChatGPT maker aims to unlock finance. Wow. 4 trillion valuation. I'm just waiting for the bubble to pop. It is absolutely gonna. I guarantee it. I absolutely guarantee it. And yeah, there's a little story here on this is a bit of a socialist thing, isn't it? Reform bill to break up big estates stirs Scottish passion. This is on the left of the screen. About 400 landlords own half of the privately held rural land in Scotland. 400. MSPs in the Scottish Parliament are in the midst of a debate on a bill allowing ministers to halt sales of holdings for more than 1,000 acres while they consider the social impact. Which I agree with, you know. You can buy land, okay, that's a law. We can make that a rule. You can buy land, okay, cool. But then the people with loads of money are going to buy up all the land. There's going to be no land left for everybody else. So you got a law, makes sense, but then in the long run, doesn't make sense. That orange idiot wearing that stupid hat, embarrassing, says Jolie. Yes. I think it's not just embarrassing for Americans. I think it's just embarrassing for humans in general. Freckle Peony says, actually, Martin, I do have a secondary laptop, which I use for more personal stuff. I may put Linux on that soon. I also have a Chromebook tablet, which I do personal stuff on as well. Hi, Vipers, young Billy, says Plum. Morning, Martin. Sending my love to Jamaica and the Jamaican flag. And yeah, I really hope that it's not too badly damaged, and I really hope no more people have died in Jamaica after being absolutely thumped by this hurricane. They don't think that climate change is causing more hurricanes; they're causing the hurricanes that exist to be stronger. That is the issue, because there's more energy in the mix. There's more energy in the system. Freckle Peter says, Affinity designer, photo and publisher. I know the likes of GIMP and Inkscape exist. However, too many projects I'll have to convert. And yeah, I'm still using fucking Premiere. Do you know when I first started using Premiere? 1997. 1997. 28 years. I still fucking hate it. One day I'm gonna bite the bullet and learn how to use a different fucking editor. Because yeah, well, I mean, when Premiere was first out, before it was Premiere Pro, before it was Premiere Pro CS, when it was just Premiere, I think the first version I had was 3.1 or something. Back when it was just dead simple. It was just dead simple. You just brought in your image and you cut it, and then you put something between it. It was just nice and easy. And then they started adding these unnecessary fucking bells and whistles to it that just did not need to be part of the program at all. And yeah, it made it entirely on Photoshop, right? Whenever you resize something, you've got to press a fucking tick or press enter to say, yeah, that's the new size that I want. And if you don't, if you resize it and then you go to another tab to get some other picture that you want, that you got open on another tab, and then you go back to your original tab, it's reverted back to the original size because you didn't press on the tick, right? It doesn't just fucking stay there, right? Meanwhile, on Premiere, you can overlay an entire hours cut that you've done. So this cut has taken you 2 days to do this hour-long edit, right? And then you accidentally drag just a random bit of leftover footage onto the timeline, and it'll overlay, it will wipe out all of those edits. And it doesn't ask, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to wipe out all those edits that you just spent 2 days doing by accidentally? You know, like when you're writing a document, do you remember you press a button on your laptop and it would, you go back to something that you spelt wrong or something, or like you missed a word, and you start, and it did overprint. I think it was called overprint. Do you remember overprint? And it would print over what you had already written, and you'd be typing away, and then you'd look up and you've lost half your sentence because it's overtyped. It hasn't pushed the type along as it's added it's overtyped. Well, it does the equivalent of that in Premiere still in 2025, in Premiere 2026, which is out now. And it doesn't warn you. It doesn't go, are you sure you want to, are you sure? If you make a picture that's this big, right? If you just make it a little bit, a tiny little bit bigger, if you crop it, you know, like you do before you send a picture on WhatsApp, or you post a picture on what's it called? Facebook. You got to press you got to give the thumbs up. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to crop this? Are you sure you want to resize this picture, Graham? Yes, I'm sure. Okay, cool. And even when I accidentally click on a layer that's got nothing there, it comes up with a dialogue. It says, there's nothing there, Graham. Hey, dickhead. Nothing there, dickhead. Oh, shit, yeah, I pressed on the wrong layer. But on Premiere, it's just boom, entire work gone. And the thing is, you can't necessarily see the whole timeline all at once, because if you're drilling down to doing fast cuts, you zoom into the timeline, so you might only be able to see a minute worth of footage of an hour-long thing. So you could be fucking around with this, right? And you'd be there for an hour doing all these edits, right? And the history only goes back 30 or 40 or 50 steps, right? So then you zoom back out and you see that you have accidentally dumped a bunch of footage at the beginning of the timeline on top of a bunch of cuts that you made, and overwritten all of those cuts. And you press Control Z like a fucking maniac trying to go back to what you had, and no, it's gone. You have to do all those edits again, aren't you, dickhead? A little bit of warning would be nice, Adobe. A little bit of warning, maybe. It's nearly it's so expensive. Honestly, I think it's my biggest, yeah, next to trying to pay for the fucking heating in the winter, which is just astronomical, which I pay half for. So after the heating, right, Adobe Suite is the thing that I spend the most amount of money on each month. It's just like, it is an obscene amount of money that Adobe get, considering their stuff is like so fucking infuriating. Anyway, I'm sure there's loads of people in the chat saying you should use Final Cut, you should use something else. Not my king, says Tusk. Yeah, indeed. Sorry, I'm just having a bellyache about Premiere. Actually, Martin, I do have. I've read that one. I've got a tag her watch referring to the ad on the paper and engagement present for my ex 30 years ago, still going strong, unlike the relationship. And Plum says, I'm off to get my brekkie. Have a wonderful day, you good people. Best of luck. And Yuri, I hate Premiere. It's a pain in the arse. Thank you, Yuri. Thank you for feeling my pain. Okay, so we've got a packed schedule today, obviously, clearly, because it is Wednesday. We have Prime Minister's questions at midday, at noon, high noon. I'll see you then. High noon, great movie. Great movie. Trivia for you. What does High Noon, the movie High Noon, have? What's the connection with the TV show 24 with Kiefer Sutherland? That's what I want to know. Anyone who's seen the movie with Gary Cooper should be able to answer this. But we will see. We will see. What's it got in common? What's it got in common? I also have another question. I mean, maybe we'll leave this. I think we're going to leave this till the rabbit hole tonight. So at 6:00 tonight, Rachel and I will be jumping down the rabbit hole together like a pair of Alice in Wonderlands. And Alice's in Wonderland. Sorry, that's like Courts Martial, isn't it? Alice's in Wonderland. And yeah, at 6 p.m. And I will be asking a question, which I'm going to ask you lot to try and get the correct answer for. Okay, right. Okay. And then it won't let you undo. Can you close it without saving and then reopen it in the previously saved state? Yeah, but then you lose all the work that you've done on the later bit of the timeline, and then you can copy and paste. Honestly, it's a fucking nightmare. I just wish it would say, hang on, you just wiped out a load of fucking work there. You sure you want to do that, Graham? And I'll go, oh shit, fucked up. Oh, thanks for letting me know, Adobe. But no. Actually, older versions wouldn't let you put stuff over things on the timeline. It wouldn't let you overlay. But it seems the default on Premiere now is to allow things to automatically just overlay onto bits of clips of footage on the timeline. I'm sure there is a thing that I can change in the settings so that it will not allow a block of footage to sit on over another block of footage. But it's one of those things that when you think about it, you've already finished the job, so you're like, oh fuck it, I'll change that next time I do it, and then you always forget. It probably takes place during one day. Damn it, Graham, I was just typing that. If it won't let you undo, I've read that one. 42. It probably takes place during one day. You're almost there. What's this? Dries Uts Sawunda. Dries that one. You've almost there. The TV production share the direct connection with the classic films are remakes and sequels. What? TV productions share the direct connection with the classic film or remakes. No, there's just something. There's a property. There's a property of High Noon that it shares with 24, and I want to know what that property is. Anyway, so I ever thought of using Sony Vegas Pro? Oh, no fucking way. That's even fucking worse. Yeah, not doing that. Not doing that. So yeah, I'm just gonna have a quick look to see if we've got any updates for you before I shoot off into the autumn mist. Excluding flashbacks, elections today here. Excluding flashbacks. Nope. I got this habit of frequently saving my CAD work when everything is good, just in case it messes or crashes unexpectedly. Yeah. I'm not surprised, Russ. AutoCAD is a fucking nightmare, and that thing of like losing work is the worst thing. It's the absolute fucking worst thing. But at least now it's yeah. Freckle Puny says I gave up on Adobe when they became subscription only. Yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous. Hundreds of pounds a year. hundreds of pounds a year, and they're absolutely fucking raking it in. And I understand if you've got a production company or you've got a design company that uses Illustrator, uses InDesign and Photoshop stuff. I completely get that, I do, I really do. But the thing is, as well, like I say, I've been using Premiere since 1997. I've been using Photoshop since 1997 as well. So Photoshop, to me, I know it like the back of my hands. Like I can do stuff really quickly on there because I know where everything is. I'm not searching for stuff. And the big one is when something goes mad, when like something that goes a bit weird and you're like, why did it do that? If I'm using After Effects, which I don't know that well, or I'm using Illustrator, or I'm using InDesign, I'm like, I don't know why it's done that. I don't understand why it's done that thing. Whereas with Premiere and with Photoshop, because I've been using them so long, I can go, okay, I know why it's done that, and reverse it. Oh, Jolie, thank you for joining the channel. We've got a new member. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are awesome. Welcome to Lone Star. I'll put your name on the end of the show when I update it. Real-time countdown. Yes, Sarah Davis, you are absolutely right. Both of them are in real time. So 24 and High Noon take place in real time. It's a countdown to High Noon, when the bad guys are going to come back to town and try and take out the sheriff. And he runs around town saying, is anyone going to help me out? And everyone's like, no, fuck you. It's all an allegory about the McCarthy witch hunts. High Noon. It's actually about communism and the screenwriters and the actors in Hollywood who were like, anyone coming to save me from the fucking McCarthy witch hunt nonsense? And they looked around and they went, no, Charlie Chaplin, we're not going to help you. You're going to have to live the rest of your life in exile in fucking Switzerland. Even though you were the biggest box office draw for decades, you founded Universal Studios, you made United Artists, even. You founded United Artists, and you made The Great Dictator, which is one of the greatest anti-fascist films of all time. But you know what? We're going to get rid of you now because you once went to a meeting full of communists. And he went, where are my friends? And they all went, fuck off. Do not forsake me, oh my darling. Frankie Lane. All good stuff. I use Photoshop when I'm doing focus stacking. Indeed. I watched High Noon recently. It's brilliant, says Harry Flashman. It is a really good film. And this is the thing, right? I think there's a whole, especially with the younger generation, right? There's a wonderful moment in, I think, most people's lives where they start watching black and white films and they go, fucking hell, this is really good. Like Sunset Boulevard, Double Indemnity, High Noon, Casablanca. The first time people watch Casablanca who have never seen it, and they're like, actually, that was fucking boss. They're not expecting it because we're so used to CGI and, fucking Hollywood bullshit and space lasers and wizards and levitation and just having a movie where it's kind of like just normal shit happens is like, I'm not going to watch stuff where normal shit happens, but Witness for the Prosecution, what a fucking movie. What a movie. An African Queen, it's just fantastic. Really good stuff. And blah blah CW wants to be an admin on the Discord server, please. What's your name on there? Blah blah. Help me out here. I hardly ever go onto the fucking Discord server. I'm not very good at it. Why do you want to be an admin? Tell me. Give me your CV. Paul Robeson was another who was persecuted by the McCarthy witch trials and lived in exile. There was a racial element there as well. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, just the way that it all went down in Hollywood because of a Trumpian fucking witch hunt in the 1950s. And it's all happening again. And then it's the same people who supported the McCarthy witch hunt who now whinge about cancel culture. Yeah, you're being cancelled, mate, sure. We just had an MP, a fucking MP, a member of the British Parliament who went on a show and went, that was owned by Murdoch, and said, I hate it. I hate seeing black faces on the TV. I hate seeing them. Just fucking amazing. Joanna. So is it Joanna? Is Blah Blah CW Joanna? Who's... I watched the film Brazil, 1985, the other night. Brazil is fucking amazing. Fantastic film, Terry Gilliam. 1985. Famously shot a couple of years earlier, and he had to put an advert out, didn't he? Was it in like the New York Times or something, saying Universal Pictures, when are you going to release my movie? Because it had like a downer ending, and they didn't want to release it. But Brazil made 1985, real good little sequel to 1984 there. Do you know what else was written in 1985? The Handmaid's Tale, also another decent sequel to 1984. I would say. Right, let's go to the Discord server. Let's all go to the lobby of the Discord server. Oh, it's got a little pumpkin symbol now. That's really cool. So what am I doing here? I'm adding people as special people. I'm adding the special people. Okay, right. Why is it not giving me the right? Invite people. It's rules, isn't it? Is it rules I want to go to? Rules? Oh no, that's a thing saying I cribbed all the rules on the Discord server off Maximilian's. I just copied and pasted it. little bit of piracy there. I'm sure Max doesn't mind. I'm sorry, by the way, last night, because we wrapped up Geoscope, me and Ollie were like, right, off you go, say hello to Max, and because there was a link up. There was a link that you could link to, but then when you actually clicked on the link, it was dead because Max didn't actually do the show because he wasn't feeling too well yesterday. So sorry about that, and apologies on behalf of Max and everybody. Right, so I can invite people. This isn't going to be fun for people watching. They're going to be looking at this going, what is he even doing? And I can see something that you can't see. But there you go. Server profile, boost perks, fucking members. Here we go. Roles. Roll voice. Okay, so admin role. Okay, here we go. Who have we got here? We have got the admin role. Manage members. Add members. Okay, who wants to be a millionaire? Right, Joanna. Nothing's coming up. Oh, here we go. Joanna. Got no Joanna. What's your name on this? Blah blah. Okay, blah. No, nothing's coming up as an actual member. I can't make you an admin if I don't know what your name is on here. Sorry, everyone. Joanna Hammond. Joanna Hammond isn't Joanna. Am I spelling it wrong? No, I've got Johnny Copperhead. I've got Jovian. I've got Diz. I've got no. Is Joanna already a member? Is she a member of the channel? Like a member? Shit. Yeah, maybe it's no. It's all members. No members found. Sorry. At Joanna Hammond. I'm not spelling it wrong. It's just not coming up as a member. I don't know why. I pressed that and nothing happened. Oh my God, I'm getting so old now in my old age. I don't know how computers work anymore. Shit. There's me bragging about having a 286 back in 1992 so I could play Wolfenstein 3D. Mate. Joanna Hammond. It's not Joanna, it's Bago Mashins. So how the fuck was I supposed to know that? Like, seriously. Fucking hell. Right, let's search Bago. Hey, I found it. Bago Mashins. Right, Bago Mashins is now added as a admin. Okay, there you go. Could I go back to bed now? That was fun, wasn't it? Please don't trash my my Discord server. I don't want to have to shut this one down and start another one. How do I get a Discord invite? Jolie, if you go to the page for this channel and go to the wall where it's got like updates and stuff, there is a update on the wall, a post on the wall that is just for members. You can now see it since you're a member, and if you click on that link, that's an invite to the Discord server, and then the lovely Discord people will take you in and make things wonderful. There you go. Mr. Tish says, I hate seeing Putin on TV and in the House of Commons. Yeah, I hate getting poo on my chin. Please don't. I put too much work into it, says Reagan Elite. Well, yeah, Reagan. Yeah, we've got One Angry Pagan, Star Paz, Reagan Elite, and Bag of Mashins are now admins, but they're not super admin. I think I'm the only super admin. I think I'm the only one who can, I don't know, just delete the whole thing. I don't know. We will see. Right. Thanks, says Jody. Okay, cool. And you can continue the conversation over on the Discord server, and it's a good little place to go to. One thing, while Reagan Elite is here, Reagan, could you do me a favor, right? Because I'll forget otherwise. Could you make a space in the top things? You know, it's got like general chat, welcome all, and all that. Could you put an extra hashtag thing in there? Or could you put an extra thread for like a well-being space where people who are, members of the channel, members of the Discord, can just have a little bit of a chill out area to talk about their lives and any mental health problems that they're having, and just have a bit of a wellness space. Not like a wellness space that sells you supplements that don't fucking work. Not like that. But yeah, no herbal remedies, please. No fucking protein shakes. No fucking pills of vitamins that you just shit out because your body can only take so many fucking vitamins. Your body can only take so much zinc. Your body can only take so much fucking magnesium. All right? You'll just shit it out. You're paying for supplements. Your body doesn't need. Get it from your food. Get those supplements from your food. Unless your doctor says you are deficient in iron, then get some iron supplements. If you're not sufficient in iron, don't get fucking iron supplements. That's what I say. Missing a couple of regulars here today, says Mr. Tusk. Yeah, maybe. There's a support space. Okay, there's already a support space. Thank you. Good. Oh, yes, support chat, no mic. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. I've just found that. Yes, that's it. I didn't see that before. Was I being lost? Was I not? Yeah. Thank you very much for telling me that there is a support space. So that's good. Excellent. That's what we needed. Better word support than wellness, isn't it? No, we don't have the permission. No, apparently it already exists. It already exists. Pygmalion, the signal was rigged to stop falling just above his head, but the rigging failed. What? What, Paula Thomas? What are you talking about? My head? What was rigged above my head? I don't want to be crushed by falling rigging. What? Anyway, so we are moving on, and I'm moving on upstairs because I've got some work to do, and up there. And in the meantime, have a great morning. Have a really, really wonderful morning. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for the super chats. Thanks for sticking with us. Give us a like on the way out. Doesn't cost now to give us a like. And also, there's also the option of subscribing to the channel, which also doesn't cost you now, but lets you know when we're going live. And also, you have got the option to do, what Jodie did today, and actually join the channel. You can join the channel if you wanna. So then, I will be back at 12 o'clock for PMQs with Graham Hughes. And then at 6 o'clock, yay, with Rachel to go down the rabbit hole where we're talking about anything but politics. Anything but politics. So, until we meet again, thank you for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.